anyone got any other questions that I haven't? It's kind of hard to fit it all in, but if anyone has anything either they don't want to mention on here, or I haven't covered, or they think it's too complicated, whatever, feel free to give me a text or a ring, or we can, you know, arrange a kind of Zoom consultation or something like that, and I can try and help out if I haven't covered things that people need help with.
Going back to the cold and heat quickly, how would you quickly say what there's a therapy that is cold and heat, and you mix it up?
I use that. I recommend that quite a lot with patients. So there's a bit of a mixed opinion with it. So the contrast bathing is when you use alternative heat and ice, and what you're theoretically doing is flushing out the muscle. So the cold therapy kind of blocks off your blood vessels and stores it, and then the heat then opens them and kind of flushes the blood back in, and then the ice blocks them off again. So it acts as like a pumping mechanism. So that can be really, really good. I did try and actually do a bit of research on it before, but cold and hot therapies are they're always chopping and changing. I like that one because it uses a bit of both and it actually flushes the muscle out. The way I tend to get people to do it as a rule of thumb is think of the hand, so 5. So you want to do 5 kind of rounds as such. I always start and finish on ice. So you'll do 5 minutes of ice, 5 minutes of heat, 5 minutes of ice, 5 minutes of heat, and 5 minutes of ice. So it's quite easy to remember. Hand 5 times in total, start and finish on ice. That can be a really good thing. I wouldn't recommend it for things like an initial sprained ankle or something. So if something's initially swollen, I would always say go to cold. But then maybe after the first 24 hours, I would use contrast bathing.
So that is like arnica creams and heat creams or cold creams. Are they good or not so good?
With the heat creams, so you've got kind of the deep heat and stuff like that. I always say to people, if you can use the actual heat itself, then use that, because you can remove it. And heat, you don't want to leave on for too long at a time. You want to leave on maximum 20 minutes, then take off and let your body recover and pop it back on. The good things with the heat creams is you can apply them and go off and do things. So normal day-to-day, you know, if you had work, or if you had a running event, and so that's why you're using it, that's when the deep heat and the creams are really good. But if you're not moving around too much and you can actually use a heat pad itself, they're always a lot better. So I'd always recommend them over the creams, but the creams are just a bit more, you can use them day-to-day life, you know, if you can work with them a bit easier. So at the moment, because most people aren't doing too much, I would say use a hot water bottle, if you've got one, or you've got the microwavable kind of wheat bags, and things like that as a heat pack instead. They tend to be a lot better because you can just be a bit more specific with them, and you can remove them and then re-add them, rather than creams, which, you know, they do work. The problem is once you put it on, you can't take it off as easy as with a pack or something like that. So that's what I would say with them, and the same with the ice. So yeah, makes sense. Any other specific questions or anything like that? I have got a post. I'm actually going to put up a post on the heat and ice therapies and stuff on my Facebook. I'll probably put it up tomorrow. I have written it, I just haven't posted it yet, so I'll probably put that up as well. So I am trying to get a bit more productive with the online stuff now that I'm not working.
We'll help you.
So but I will try, and you'll have to kind of sift through a bit of it because there is animal stuff on there as well, just because that's what I do as well. So you'll just have to sift through and find the human stuff, but hopefully it'll be cool.
Hannah, this might be a really stupid question, but how is being an osteopath different from being a physio?
Okay, it's a good question. A lot of people ask it. So the way I tend to explain it, so osteopaths, a lot of people don't know what an osteopath is. We're very holistic with how we look at the body. So we, as osteopaths, believe the body has its own medicine chest. So the body should always be able to naturally heal itself. Sometimes it can't because of certain things, and that's when we kind of are there to help, to try and aid the body and guide it into recovering properly. So we're not kind of something that should be there for life. We should be able to help you kind of get on your way. But a lot of people think we just do backs. We don't. We do everything. We'll go from headaches to digestive problems to asthma to bad backs to feet problems, you know, the whole scale. We kind of treat in, I always say a physio does a lot of massage and rehab. A chiropractor traditionally does a lot of clicking and cracking. That's not purely what they do, and you'll meet a lot of others that don't just do that. We're in the middle. So we do a lot of massage, soft tissue, give out exercises. We can do the clicking when necessary, but we kind of do a whole thing. We're holistic, so we do what suits somebody. So it is a real mixture. I also do dry needling acupuncture, and I am a qualified sports massage therapist as well, so I kind of integrate all of that together. But the main difference is that we are a bit more holistic. We're more hands-on than a physio, theoretically. You get a lot of physios that do a lot more rehab and exercise-based things rather than hands-on treatment. But yeah, and then the main difference between us and chiropractors is chiropractors traditionally look at kind of the spine and the nerves coming out from the spine, and if they're happy, then everything else should be functioning. But a lot of osteopaths, or a lot of the work we do is, it's not actually kind of sorting your pain out there and then, but it's finding out what's causing the pain in the first place and preventing it from coming back. So we're a lot more kind of long-term solution as well as that initial problem. That's kind of the way I tend to explain it to a lot of people. So yeah, it's not, you know, a lot of people come in and say, right, my lower back hurts, or I've got a herniated disc and things like that, which is kind of like, yes, we need to fix that. But why has that happened in the first place? Is it because your upper back's not working properly, or, you know, you've got problems in your knees? And actually, if we don't address them, then it's just going to come back again. So that's kind of the main difference, is just to look a little bit more outside the box, really. But,
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, kind of it. But you'll meet a lot of chiropractors that treat osteopathically and a lot of physios that treat osteopathically, and vice versa. It is the way we look at the body. All our end goals are the same, but we just go about it very differently. You know, we all want everyone pain free, but people go about it in a very different way.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
Any more questions, or is that it? Kind of done as it's a lot to take in and look at.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, if anyone's got any other questions, feel free to give me a buzz or a text, and I'll try and give some advice or help as much as I can.
Yeah, and thanks for giving up your time tonight, Hannah. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nothing else.
Very much.
We're
Exactly.
really busy.
Yeah, we're all very busy.
Thank you.
We have recorded this, so hopefully now that I